everybody, and today I'm going to I'm going to tell you about your emotion. So, how to maintain your emotion. And I'm going to squeeze in some extra facts about why do we lose control of our emotions. So, are you ready? Let's begin. Imagine that you really want to play soccer after you ate lunch. But then you found out that you couldn't find your soccer shoes. Where are my soccer shoes, man? You found out like that. So, you ran around the school trying to find your soccer shoes. And when you finally went out to the field with both of your shoes on your legs, you see that the teams have been picked and they had already started playing. And you couldn't play. And you couldn't play. If you couldn't play and you really want to play, then you get really angry. And a small situation like that will be turned into a really large situation. For example, you say, hey, that's okay. Next time I'm gonna try to find my soccer shoes faster. Or another possibility is you're like this. Means you're really angry. And that's when a small emotion turns into a big emotion. Now, let's look into there. You have two parts of your brain. Two main parts, like I could say. First, let's see your fist. Okay, like this. This is your upstairs brain, which is this part and this part. Your downstairs brain is the under part of your hand when you make it into a fist. Okay? So now, let's look. First, this is the brain fumus. The parts that are like your fingernails are called the brain fumus, if your fist was actually your brain. Next is here, the part under the thumb, okay? This part, you see? That is called the brain stem. Like I said, if your hand was a brain. And now let's look at the upstairs and downstairs. The downstairs is the part here, your palm, here. You see, from the big line of your palm to the bottom of your hand. And your upstairs is this part of your fist and this part of your fist. You see? This part and this part. Okay, so now let's look at some examples. Your brain reacts to anything that you do. For example, you were just walking on a hiking path, and then you see a bear wander on the path. You don't stop and think, but you think, hey, is this bear friendly or is this bear mean? But you don't know. However, your downstairs brain feels that you are scared. So it will trigger your running away part, your jumping up and down part, and you're saying, help, help part. That is one part. Another example is that when you make a cup of tea, you put it on the table. A minute later, you come back. The tea is still hot. You touch the cup. And it's so hot, it burns your hand. You don't stop and think, but your upper part of your brain and your lower part of your brain go like this. The cup. So for example, your screen that you're watching this video is the cup. So we touch the cup, and then, for example, the cup is so hot, we do it like this. Like it's so hot, you simply push your hand to the forward, but it's so hot that you pull it back after a split second. Those are a few examples that your downstairs brain is in control. Now, what about your upstairs brain, by the way? Well, your upstairs brain works totally different than the downstairs brain. Example, you have a really hard math equation. For example, 999 multiplied by 998. It's a really hard math problem. And your upstairs brain has to work really hard to actually solve that. Now we've talked about our brain. Now let's go back to the first part of our video when he talked about the story when you couldn't find your soccer shoes and you missed the game of the day. So that time, like I said, you were really angry, right? Well, losing your emotion or losing your control of your emotion is a really simple thing because you have to adjust to the thing that is like new. Like, for example, you never missed a soccer game and then you missed a soccer game. That's a new experience that you have to feel. Or, for example, there's a new member of your family. At first, you didn't really look forward to it, especially since you didn't pick that you have to like get a younger brother or sister. But soon you will adjust. So when the brother or sister cries, you simply twirl a teddy bear in front of his or her face. Now, we've looked through the fact that why we lose our emotion. And now let's look around the fact how to control our emotion. First of all is to take deep breaths. Find a coach, a grandparent, or any other person and talk to them before you flip your lid. Flipping your lid means that you lose control of your emotion before you flip your lid, okay? And then you could use the I witnesses so that you could explain what you mean. For example, you could tell the coach that you're talking to, I need a hug. I need some alone time. I need something to do. I need quietness and that kind of stuff. Now we're gonna talk about if we don't have a grown-up around. For example, in the playground, when all the teachers are in the teacher's lounge, you don't have a teacher around. So, for example, when you're in the playground, you look over there, there's some boys playing, and then someone carelessly kicks the ball to the side, and it flies and breaks your head. You fall down to the ground, and your friend just laughs at you. But then you stand up again, and everyone is normal. So that is called getting up when you were striked down. Be like Spider-Man. However much you are being hit, you will always stand up. Okay, now let's move on. Now I'm going to tell you about a little bit about the loose emotion inside of you. Even though you have two parts of the brain, two main parts, let's just compare this dot as the downstairs and this red part as the upstairs. Now, from the downstairs goes up to the upstairs. When you flip your lid, the upstairs cannot control with the downstairs. So they cannot communicate with each other. And that's a really bad thing. Because, if they can't communicate, then they cannot think anything. And then they will start to flip their lids. For example, the upstairs is used for thinking. The downstairs is used for emotion. But someday they swipe around and then they turn into the upstairs used for thinking. The downstairs is used for thinking. And the upstairs is used for emotions. And then it gets just so out of control that you flip your lid. Like that. Okay, so now if you need a bit of If you need a bit of more information in my next part, the summary, you just get back on the first part of the video and you'll agree. Okay, so now let's see. First of all, we talked about why we lose control of our emotions. For example, we can get hurt, then we cry, or we get like that. Next, we talked about how to keep control of our emotions. And that's when I talked to you about talking to a teacher, a coach, a parent, a grandparent, or any other person that you can trust. And finally, we've been talking, before this summary part, we've been talking about how if the upstairs cannot communicate with the downstairs, what will happen? You will flip your lid, right? Means you will lose control of your own body and your emotion and just clomp, 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 stomp, 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 scream, 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 like that. Okay, so now that is the end of our today's video, and see you next time with the next video on whatever you know is the next video. Bye.